Hey guys, welcome back to Blind Strike Exotics. I'm John, and today we're going to look at my top 5 biggest female ball pythons. Well, it's really the top 5 biggest ball pythons because they all happen to be females. They range in size probably from 5.5 pounds up to like 9.5 pounds, my 5 biggest ones. So we're going to take a look at them, count down from the number 5 down to the number 1, and just show you guys how big these girls can really get. There are some males that can get into the 2,000, 2,500 gram range, but I've never seen one as big as my biggest female, which is almost 10 pounds, which is about 4,500 grams or so. I've never seen a male that big, and they don't get as big as the females, but this list is going to be really cool. Luckily, most of my females that are big are blue-eyed Lucies, but a couple of my others, I have a leopard and a lemon blast that made it into the mix, so it's not all going to be blue-eyed Lucy female. So let's take a look. All right, my first female here is my Pastel Leopard female. She is in shed, just getting ready to shed right about now. So her colors are a little more dull than normal, but she's about 2,500 grams or close to like 5.5 pounds. She's probably the average size of most of my females. If you average out the small ones and the big ones, I would say they probably range around that. Leopard genes are one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I would consider it like kind of a king of all genes to mix in with other stuff. Leopard clowns are beautiful. Leopard ivories are one of the only genes you can put in the ivories where they actually get some pattern out of it. Leopard highways are beautiful. I'm working on leopard enchi pinstripe combos this season. She's actually being bred to my bamboo ultramel male, trying to mix the bamboo leopard, and she's pastel as well, and get some het ultramel snakes out of it that maybe we can breed back in a couple years. But she is probably one of the more one of the females that have a little more attitude. She doesn't love being held a lot. She just tolerates it. She's not super happy to be out right now because, like I said, she is getting ready to shed. I don't know if you can see, her eyes are a little milky. She's a great eater. She has a beautiful pattern on her back. If I can unwind her here for you. It's 2 genes, just pastel and leopard, but she is gorgeous. And she is big. She is a proven breeder. I bought her off another breeder earlier in the season, and she has been eating great for me, so hopefully she does great again this year for me with my bamboo male, my bamboo ultramel male, who has been amazing in his first season as well, because I've been pairing him up to my ultramel pinstripe female, and they lock up every single time they go in there, so I have high hopes for that and for this girl. Let's take a look at number 4. All right, my 4th biggest female is Annie here. She is my lemon blast, which is a pastel pinstripe. If you've watched my videos before, you would know that she is the ball python with the longest stay here at Blind Strike Exotics. She's really the first female I purchased, and only the second ball python I ever purchased. I got her when she was tiny. She was about 1,100 grams, I think in January, about 2 years ago. And she is now over 2,600 grams, which is just a little more than the last one. She's almost about 6 pounds. She is a crazy eater, frozen, thawed, or live. She eats anything. She actually just ate about 2 days ago. She laid a wonderful clutch. Her first clutch this season was 7 good eggs, 1 bad egg. She is being paired up to Yankee King this year. I wanted to try to pair him up to a female that I knew was a good breeder, since he didn't do so well for me last year. But she has a great attitude usually, especially because she just ate. She's an awesome snake. Like I said, she's really the first one I had. So I've had her for a while. She's been here for basically 2 years at this point. We're recording this in January 2021. I got her in January or February of 2019, so she's been here the longest. Again, she's just a simple 2-gene animal, lemon blast, which is pastel pinstripe, but she's gorgeous. Pinstripe is an awesome gene. It does a lot all by itself. It's really a gene, if you have it by itself, it's really kind of just this more gold color throughout the whole snake. But when you mix it with a pastel, why it's called a lemon blast, it really brings up these yellow colors up the side there. And it breaks up the pattern a little bit too. Typically with a pinstripe, you get 2 stripes going down the back and then all these stripes over the side. And they're usually a lot easier to see when it's just pinstripe by itself. But when you mix in the pastel, get a little more variability there in the pattern, but she's awesome. I'm assuming she'll hopefully lay for me early in the season, and she put on a lot of weight. I think she laid in May or June. She was one of my earlier ones, and she put on at least 600 or 700 grams after she laid. So she hopefully lays another big clutch for me this season. Let's take a look at number 3. Now this girl is starting to get into my really big females. She's actually really long. She's in shed too, so her colors are a little more dull. She's a Mojave Enchi, or a Mochi. She also laid a big clutch for me last year, I think 8 eggs. I actually bought her gravid as part of like a collection deal. I think she also had 7 or 8 good healthy eggs. And she's a proven breeder. She's bred several times before. But she's about 3,100 grams, so she's a big jump from Annie to her. She's almost, I think, when I calculate, she's almost 7 pounds. And she's very long. She's a very voracious eater. She's one of the girls where if the tub opens up, kind of need to give her a little tiny tap on the head to let you know that you're not food, because she's always trying to strike when you open up the tub. But as you see, even in shed, she is pretty calm. But she is really long. She's a lot longer than Annie is. I have a feeling, if she ever gets a season off, she'd probably put on a ton of weight, because she is, definitely has the frame to fill it out. But as you can see, with her being in shed, her colors are really faded out. She almost looks like she's a ghost or a hypo. Typically she is very, very brown, very, very kind of a gold color. And if I could pull her around here, I could show you her head. Her eyes are that milky color too. But she actually probably should be shedding here in the next couple of days. These girls go in the shed cycles in the middle of breeding season, and then you can't pair them up because they just kind of don't want anything to do with it while they're in shed. So she's kind of just had the week off to kind of hang out and kind of get through her shed cycle. But she's a big girl. Hopefully she lays another big clutch for me. And we're gonna head to number 2 and number 1, which are a big step up from this girl too. They're actually huge. So let's take a look at those 2 girls. All right, so this big girl is Crystal. She is a Mystic Crystal, which is a Mystic and a special gene, which is technically considered a Blue-eyed Lucy, even though you can tell they're not very white, and her eyes aren't super blue either. But that is an allelic combo, so when she breeds, everything that's going to come out with either the Mystic or the special gene. So she's actually being bred to Tesla, who is my Purple Passion Leopard Blackhead. He hasn't locked up with anybody yet, so I don't know if he's just not ready. If he isn't, I'll probably end up throwing Shredder in there and pairing him up, since I know he does a good job of pairing up with females. But she's another big jump up from the last female. She's 3,600 grams, which is almost a full another pound bigger, which is almost 8 pounds. She doesn't seem like she's as long as the Mojave Enchi, but she is definitely a lot thicker. She only eats live, which is kind of hard to come by. Have to raise up a rat for a long time to get it to the size where it's, going to fill her up. I try to get all these big females on frozen thawed because it's just easier to have a freezer full of huge, medium rats or large rats, as opposed to trying to raise them all up and take up the big space. But she's huge. She is also a proven breeder. She was actually part of the collection with the last female and the next female that I bought, but she was not bred this year by the previous owner or by me, so she's coming into this season just ready to go. She is big and girthy. So she is in the Blue-eyed Lucy family. As you can see, when you have the Mystic and the Crystal, there's a lot of yellows, a lot of browns, like creamy whites, no blues. The eyes aren't very blue either, you can see there. But she's gorgeous, and I'm curious to see what she'll make, paired up with Tesla. Hopefully he ends up being a stud for me this year. But next, we'll look at the biggest female in my collection, who is another huge step up from this girl, and is by far the biggest snake I have. Alright, my final and my biggest female and biggest snake is Princess here. She is a Pastel Mystic Potion, which is Mystic and Mojave. She is a Blue-eyed Lucy. She is 4,300 grams, almost 9.5 pounds. She also came with Crystal and the Mochi female in the big collection I bought. She's a proven breeder, has not been bred this year by me or the previous owner. So she's coming into this year probably putting on a ton of weight from when the previous owner bred her. But she's a puppy dog tame and beautiful. Mystic Potions, she's a little more kind of like a gray color. That's probably because of the pastel, but if you have like a typical Mystic Potion, they're almost like a more purple color. They're really pretty snakes, part of the Blue-eyed Lucy family, and they actually do have eyes that are a little more blue, if you can see them there. They're not quite as bright as like the Mojave Lesser would be, but they're still beautiful snakes, and she is huge. She also only eats live rats, which kind of stinks, but basically when they get this big, you're feeding them a rat that's so big that they're really only going to be eating probably once a month maybe, because what they eat is so big. You could feed them smaller meals less or more often, but it's kind of just easier for me to take my older male rat breeders and just kind of as they need to get retired, they just become snake food. But she's huge. She eats very well. Hopefully Tesla does a good job of locking up with her this season. Nothing yet, unfortunately, from him, but I think maybe he's just getting used to it. But as you can see on her head, she's kind of a little more purple. You can see the purple in there. That's, and if you see a Super Mojave, which is the all-white snake with the purple head, it's kind of the same color. It's like a gray purple, and the Mystic Potions keep a lot of that grayish purplish color. I don't necessarily love the pastel in this combo, but I wasn't going to pass up a girl this size when I was able to purchase her. She really is puppy dog tame. She'd just sit here all day and let you hold her and mess around with her, and she never shows any aggression whatsoever. Just a kind of like a good ambassador animal. I can when people come over and they want to see a big snake, I can take her out and they can hold her, they can touch her, and I'm not worried about her being aggressive at all. She's not going to scare anybody. And she's pretty too. Very pretty, very different color. She really has no there's some blushing up here from where the pattern would be. It's you can kind of see the Mojave alien heads, but there's no outline to them. Where the stripes on the back, they still kind of have the black outline. There is no other markings like that anywhere else. There's just sort of light blushing going up her side. So she's a beautiful snake. She is huge, and if she lets me unwrap her here off my arm, I can kind of stretch her out and show you how big. She's a very big snake. Very girthy. This is empty too. She hasn't eaten. I think I gotta feed her next week if she even takes anything. You know, usually in breeding season, sometimes the females go off food. But this is empty basically because she hasn't gone to the bathroom for a while. So this is just a big, thick, muscular, healthy ball python. She's about as big as they get though. So I've never seen one bigger than this. I've never seen any, as I've been browsing Morph Market, that have weighed more than this. So she's probably the upper limits of what ball python's going to get to, unless they're unhealthy, fat, overweight. She's definitely not. She has very good body conditioning and very good temperament too. All right, that is it for today for me and Princess. Those are my 5 biggest females. Again, she's my biggest female, weighing in at about 9.5 pounds, so she is huge. Awesome puppy dog tame girl. And that's it for today, Blind Shark Exotics. Thanks for stopping by, and please remember to like and subscribe. See ya.